The House of Commons Transport Committee will meet today to discuss the problems plaguing major airports across the country. Members of the committee are calling for a study to be launched into airport delays and flight cancellations. Now, the situation, as we've been telling you, has been particularly bad at Pearson Airport, which was ranked the worst airport in the world for flight delays just last month. So for more on this, we're joined by CTV News Channel senior political correspondent Mike Lacouture. Mike, how is this sort of being set up in Ottawa here? Because there have been so many issues surrounding, whether it's the ArriveCAN app, COVID testing, rapid testing at the airport, rapid testing offsite. What are the big priorities here?
Well, they want to first meet and make sure that this is something that is worthy of study. And so what you can expect from this committee is likely a lot of talk about why there should be a study and what they think would be studied. So among it, because when you consider what is happening at each airport, particularly Pearson, because we did hear from the Greater Toronto Airport Authority last week, the CEO and president there, and talking about how multifaceted the issue is, because there are so many organizations within an airport that really sort of touch each other and deal with each other. So CBSA, CATSA, so that's the security agency that deals with you getting through security there. We know there were long lines there. So making sure that they have, and they're making a case at this parliamentary committee for talking about this and trying to get to the bottom of exactly why there were so many delays, the lost luggage and the such. And I think what we're going to see from this committee is essentially a lot of the opposition party members talking about why it's worthy to bring not only the minister, Omar Alghabra, in front of the committee, but a number of other people to get to the bottom of this issue.
Mike, are any of the airlines likely, if this actually does go through as you're describing here, is it likely that they would call the airlines as well as, for example, like you said, Minister Alghabra? That certainly makes sense. But a lot of people have sort of shifted the blame, in a sense, to the airlines themselves.
Yeah, I think I can definitely see that, because they, again, are a number of those key people within the airports that have contributed to this. And that's something that we heard from the president and CEO of the GTAA when she was talking last week, talking about the issue of overbooking at times and not having enough staff to deal with all of the air passengers that are coming into the airport. Essentially, if you look at it this way, when you are being welcomed into the airport, it's kind of at the invitation of an airline, right, Nick? The fact that if you buy a ticket, you have an expectation that you can get on a flight, that you can get through the airport in a timely manner. And it is, in a sense, up to the airlines and a number of other of the players who are working there together to make sure that they all have enough staff to get through it. So I think we can expect the presidents and CEOs of different airlines that operate within Canada, particularly Air Canada and WestJet, likely will be called before this committee. But I think it'll be interesting to see a witness list that they try and come up with as a result of this study today.
Yeah, that would be fascinating indeed. I mean, we've seen the poll numbers about people's appetite for travel right now based on kind of what's been going on at airports, including Pearson. Is there a timeline for this, Mike? When would it be decided whether it moves from the study phase to the actual sort of committee and sort of challenge phase?
Yeah, it's unclear if they'll make that decision today or if they'll schedule another emergency meeting of this committee to try and finalize that. But certainly, parliamentarians are feeling the pressure here, because they know that even though the summer travel season is starting to slowly wind to an end, people want answers. And as you had said, a lot of people are looking at this and going, maybe it's a staycation this time where I can drive to where I need to be, despite the fact that gas prices were at all-time highs. They're now a lot lower here in Ontario, especially. But I think a lot of people have looked at those lines and even at the passport offices and kind of shaken their heads and said, maybe we'll delay that flight somewhere, that kind of a vacation, until that house is sort of in order. So I think there is pressure on this parliamentary committee to make sure that they get answers quickly.
Yeah, a multifaceted issue indeed. That is CTV News Channel senior political correspondent Mike Lacouture joining us from Ottawa. Mike, always appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.